The 3rd of December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Ani gofahu nichoa leu, because the other paupers themselves are agreeable to have it so, since it is in their own interest to allow such an arrangement. Ki hechi hadachi on row in order that when people hire him to harvest a crop in exchange for a share of the crop, Nila Coat, who Basra, who their own minor sons should be able to collect it behind them.
Okay, so this is the resolution that we said yesterday.
Right.
And I spent well over an hour last night and also this morning looking into this. And I still have my question. I don't know what to answer. I didn't see anybody ask the question even, so I know I'm not getting it. But basically, what we're saying is, let's explain it over again. Maybe if we say it over again, you'll see. Or maybe we should read what it says in the art scroll. Maybe let's read what it says in the art scroll. Maybe the art scroll can make more sense in this Gemora. The question that I have is, in a nutshell, after the Gemora gives Rava's answer, it's my question basically is, so let the Anim think like that, think positively. Also, in the case of in the answer that Abaye gave, that's the only difference that I see in the Gemoras. The answer that according to the answer that Abaye gave, the Gemora says, "Oh, the Anim are they're being so scared, they're gonna run away, they're gonna be frustrated, they're gonna say, oh, we give up, we can't get any lekek off this field, we're gonna give up." And you're not allowed to do that to a Anim. And the Gemora says, "Oh, we got another answer." So Rabbi gives his answer, and then what the Gemora says? "Oh, the Anim, they love this. They love this system. What the rabbis did over here. They love it. Why do they love it? They're getting kicked off the field over here too. No, because over here the Anim are saying, you know what? I got a good idea. I'm going to do the same thing that the owner of this field did. When he hires me, I'm going to also have my own son take leket behind me." So the whole difference in the two Gemoras, it seems to be how the Anim perceive the fact that they're getting kicked off this field. Either they could look at it and say, "Oh, we give up. We're frustrated. There's nothing that we could do," or they say, "You know what? I could do the same thing. If they hire me, I'll also get my son to do it." Why is Abaye's answer any worse than Rava's? That's what I don't understand.
Okay, there are footnotes on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, this footnote 21 on page 12A3. Is on the phrase where it says, "And Rav Chisda said that Rav Yosef means that it is unequivocal theft by virtue of rabbinic decree, not by biblical law." Is that too early?
Where is that? Where is that note? There's three basic steps in this Gemara. The first step is what does Abaye say? What's his answer? The second step is what Rav Ada bar Masna says to Abaye with the whole story with the lion and scaring the Anim and everything. And then The third step is that the Gemara says, oh, we have a solution now. What Rava says. So
we want to start with El Rab Amar Abaye.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so that's footnote 24 on page 12A3. Abaye disagrees with the Gemora's previous understanding that Reb Yosef's ruling concerning leket precludes the view of our Tana that the find of a minor son belongs to his father. So he disagrees that the find of a minor son belongs to his father. Rabbi Abaye says it doesn't belong to his father. According to Abaye, Reb Yossi indeed agrees with the Tana of our Mishnah that the minor son's find belongs to his father. Whoops, wait a second now, I got it reversed. According to Abaye, Reb Yossi indeed agrees with the Tana of our Mishnah that the minor son's find belongs to the father.
Yeah, okay.
And as taught by Rav Chisda, a minor has no capacity to acquire ownerless articles under biblical law. Still, Rav Yossi allows the sharecropper's minor son to collect leket behind him for the reason Abaye will now advance.
Right. Good.
Okay. So Abaye advances that rabbis consider the field that the sharecropper harvests like a field that has already been traversed by the rummagers.
Right.
All right, so now it says, see this note. Where the paupers themselves stop thinking about the field. Okay, so this is the note on this concept. The last paupers to collect leket in any given field were the old and weak, who would collect slowly and meticulously. The Mishnah in Peah rules that after these straggling paupers finish collecting leket from the field, all remaining grain is available to all, rich and poor alike. The reason for this rule is that people assume that the meticulous stragglers have left nothing of value in their wake. Accordingly, the poor people collectively despair of finding any more leket, etc., in the field, in effect relinquishing their claim to whatever leket might in fact remain. Thus, whatever leket does remain is absolutely ownerless and may be taken by any person. Abaye asserts that the rabbis applied this same principle to a field being harvested by a sharecropper, as he proceeds to explain. Okay, so now Abaye proceeds to say, similarly, in the Bryce's case of the sharecropper, the paupers collectively think that fellow's son is collecting all the leket in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now there's a footnote on that. I.e., though it should be forbidden for the sharecropper's minor son to collect the leket behind his father, the other paupers assume that the son will do so anyway and preempt them. Consequently, they despair of collecting leket in that field, which thereupon becomes absolutely ownerless. The sharecropper's son, or even the sharecropper himself for that matter, is therefore permitted to take the leket for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine.
Okay, that's step one.
That's step one. Okay. So now
what's the objection of Ravada Bar Masna to Abaye's explanation of the Brisa?
Okay. So he says, are you allowed to put a line in the field? And there's a footnote on that. I.e., how is the sharecropper allowed to bring his minor son to the field and thereby cause the other paupers to despair of collecting it? Okay, that's the point of the metaphor of the lion. We understand that. So now it says, here's a footnote here. Although in general a minor cannot acquire an ownerless article on his own behalf, in this instance of Levitt, the rabbis made the minor's son who does not normally acquire on his own behalf like a person who can acquire on his own behalf.
1 second. That's already the third step. That's already sounds like that's Rava's answer.
Right. Well, we missed the second step. What's the second step?
With the lion.
Oh, well, I read that.
Okay, so now you're going on to the third step. Okay.
Right. Yeah, the footnote just said that the metaphor of the lion was that we were concerned that the paupers will give up hope when they see the son collecting behind the father.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now the third step is this takana of the rabbis where they said he can acquire. Now the footnote says, i.e., the rabbis enacted that the sharecropper's minor son, who under biblical law cannot make acquisition of the leket and then convey it to the father, should be as one who acquires leket on his own behalf and only then conveys it to the crop owner, according to Rashi. In other words, though from the standpoint of biblical law, it should be forbidden for the sharecropper's minor son. Oh, the sharecropper is the father.
Yeah.
Okay, that was confusing. All right. In other words, though from the standpoint of biblical law, it should be forbidden for the sharecropper's minor son to collect leket from this field, the rabbis, using the authority vested in them by the Torah to legislate as they see fit in monetary matters, instituted that this should be permitted and the sharecropper should not be deemed to be in violation of other paupers' rights.
Okay, yeah, because the truth is, it seems like this takana is also going to cause the name to give up and from prevent them from their right to go onto this field and collect. They're going to give up because they see the son there, and the rabbis are giving him an ability to acquire it. So they'll say, "Oh, he's there. They're gonna give up on this field." So why is that any better than what Abaya said? So they have to explain this.
So back to the Gemora, it says, "My timer. What is the reason for this rabbinic enactment? Because the other paupers themselves are agreeable to have it so, since it is in their own interest to allow such an arrangement, in order that when people hire them to harvest a crop in exchange for a share of the crop, their own minor son should be able to collect leket behind them."
Right. So my question on this is, that's very nice that they have a positive, entrepreneurial attitude over here. They're not getting upset by the fact that this field they may as well give up on because the son is taking all the leket, the son of the sharecropper. They're saying, "Oh, you know what this means? This means that we could get hired just like this sharecropper over here, and we'll bring our son also to go behind us and take the leket. Fine. So we'll do the same thing." So, but that attitude that they have, that the Gemora is explaining that they have over here, why shouldn't we could have also said that they would take the same approach to the situation of Abaya as well. Why is it any different just because the rabbis decreed that the Katan should have a kinyan, that now all of a sudden they're going to think like this? They could think like this in the case of Abaya too. So I don't understand.
So the question I want to ask is, if the rabbis did not make the decree so that it is illegal for the minor son of the ani to collect the leket because he can't acquire it, then would he be able to collect it anyway?
The only reason why we're saying it's illegal for him to do that, the son, is because the anim will think, oh, all is lost. We're going to give up. We're not going to be able to do anything on this field. That's the only reason why we wouldn't allow the son to do it, because like the son is like the lion who's kicking off the anim from this field. That's the whole reason why we wouldn't allow it.
And that's going to be a problem whether or not the rabbis make their decree.
And I'm saying, let the anim not be so not be so negative. Let him go one step further and think the way that the Gemora now says they're thinking in the case where the rabbis made a decree. What's the difference?
I have an idea. Maybe the difference is that when the sharecropper is an asher, he has no right to deprive the anim of their access to the field. But when the sharecropper is an ani, he does have a right to deprive the aniyim, the other aniyim, because he's an ani just like them. He has just an equal right to collect as they do.
Why would the fact that he's an ani, he's allowed to deprive other anim? What's the difference? You're not allowed to deprive anim from going and taking leket. You can't do it.
Even
What's
if
the difference whether you're an usher or an ani?
All right. Well, I tried.
Somehow, because of the fact that the rabbi stepped in over here, see, in other words, if the rabbis don't step in, then what's happening is like this. The son who takes the leket doesn't have an ability to acquire it for himself. So what is he doing when he's taking it and he's giving it to his father? He's basically giving to his father leket that the father's not entitled to.
Oh, well, wait a second. The father's an ani.
Well, not in the case of that Abai is describing. He could be an usher too. The whole point of the Gemora is that we're trying to explain Rabbi Yossi, and Rabbi Yossi says benkach or benkach. The son could follow after him and take leket. Benkach means whether he's an usher, whether he's an ani.
But don't we have a statement by Rava that he's an ani?
No. What the Gemara is trying to explain, what both Abaye and Rava are trying to explain, is how it is that Rabbi Yossi says benkach or benkach the son can take.
But the case of Rava is that the ani is happy because he says my son can collect behind me. In that case, the sharecropper and the son are both aniyim.
No. Like this. Rava is describing a case where the father, the sharecropper, is not an ani. He's giving a half or a third or a fourth of the field, which means that he's not an ani. And his son is collecting. So what Rava is saying is that the anim who have a right to take the leket, they're not going to. They're going to be happy with this decree that the rabbis made. But the sharecropper, also in Rava's case, is an ani. No, he's not an ani. He's an usher. What we're saying is that the anim are not going to be put off by the fact that they're not going to be able to collect from this field right here. That the sharecropper who is an usher, who has his son here that's taking everything, the leket, that falls down from right. What is leket? Leket is that you got a sharecropper who's working and he's harvesting and he's cutting the stalks off over there, and some of them fall on the ground. Oh, now what happens? Is he allowed to pick up that stalk that fell on the ground? No, that's called leket. If it's one stalk that fell on the ground, if it's two stalks that fell on the ground, he cannot take it. Three is another matter. But we're talking about the leket is the one or the two stalks that fell on the ground that he did that while he was doing his reaping. So this sharecropper is an usher, and his son is an ani, and his son is going behind him and taking the leket. But the point that is that we're saying that, and according to Rava, we're talking about where the rabbis, what did they do? They made a decree that this son, even though he's a katan, he will, and he normally is not able to make a kinyan. Here we're going to give him the ability to make a kinyan. He'll be kona the leket that he's picking up. He'll be kona the leket that he's picking up. So that's the decree. So really, we have a question over here. How can the rabbis make a decree like that when the anim see that this guy's son is taking all the leket? They're gonna give up and leave. So it seems like the rabbis are making a rabbinically ordained lion to kick the anim off the field. Why is it any better when the rabbis do it? So the Gemora is answering, no, it's better. Why is it better? Because the anim like the fact that the rabbis made this decree. Why do they like the fact that the rabbis made this decree? So the Gemora explains. Because the anim over here will think to themselves, well, look, just even though we got kicked off this field because this guy is allowed to have his son there, and the rabbis even gave him a kinyan in what he takes. The rabbis authorized that. What we'll do is we'll get this. We'll be able to do the same thing. We can go and have ourselves hired out by an owner of a field, and we can do. And he'll give us that same deal, and even though he's going to give us a portion of the field, we'll get our sons to take the leket also. In other words, we'll do the same thing as the rabbis allowed this sharecropper here to do, even though he's an usher. We'll do the same thing. So we don't mind that gezerah. Because all we need to do is get hired by the owner of the field, and we'll do the same thing. We'll have our sons take the leket, and like that we'll get all the leket. We'll do the same thing. So what I'm asking is even though the facts are a little bit different because you have a rabbinical decree over here, but the whole reason why the rabbinical decree is permissible. And it doesn't constitute a lion kicking the anim off the field, is because the anim say to themselves, look, we'll do the same thing. If that's so, if that's what the reaction of the anim is, that we'll do the same thing, so why don't we just say that the anim will have that same reaction in the scenario that Abaya said? It all depends on how the anim react to the matter. So let's say that. In other words, why is it that the anim are reacting this way in the case of Rava, and they didn't react like that in the case of Abaye? That's really the question.
So the answer has to be that in the case of Abaya, they couldn't do it.
Why not?
Because
Well,
they have the ability to acquire, how can they give it to the father?
again, the whole reason why, according to Abaye, that we don't allow him to do it is because of the fact the anim are going to be meyayish. They're going to give up from this field, and you can't discourage anim from taking leket from field. But what about this case is making them discouraged from getting anything from this field? Good, they're not going to get anything from this field because on this field, this sharecropper who's been given the right to work this field, he put his son down there, and his son is taking is going to take the stuff. And then they're gonna feel oh, all is lost on this field, and then we say, oh, you can't do that. You can't make the anim feel like they've got kicked off of this field. But why is the Gemora saying that they're going to feel like that? Why doesn't the Gemora say, oh, they're going to say, the anim are going to say to themselves, oh, true, we got kicked off of this field, but we could do the same thing that this sharecropper is doing over here. He got the job to harvest this field, and he got his son to follow after him, and so we'll do the same thing. So fine, so he got this field, we'll get a different field, and that's the whole reason why we say, according to Rava, that it's everything is okay. So it seems that the Gemora is saying that for some reason the anim are not going to take this approach in this scenario without the whole difference between the answer that Abaye is giving and the answer that Rava is giving is that in the case of Rava, the Rabbanan themselves stepped in and they gave a kinyan to the son, whereas in the case of Abaye, they did not give a kinyan to the son. And they're saying that the only reason the father will be allowed is because we know that the adim are going to give up, and if they give up, so then it's hefker, and even anybody could take it. But why it is that why it makes a difference with the kinyan that the Rabbanan say in the case of according to Rava, I don't know why that makes a difference, but that seems to be the difference, right? According to Abaye says the rabbis made no decree. They made no decree, so that means that the son is not acquiring it when he picks it up. That means that when he gives it, he's going to give it to the father. That means he's just picking it up, leket. He's picking up leket and giving it to the father, who's an usher. But why? And it can't do that because they're preventing the anim from getting the leket. The son is interfering now with the anim getting the leket. But what about the other case? The way that Rava explains it, he says that they said that the son, he is being given a rabbinic kinyan in the leket that he's taking. So when he picks it up, when he goes through the field after his father, when he picks it up, he himself is making an acquisition. So, and then he gives it to the father, like as a present. So why is that? Why is that okay? Isn't he also kicking the anim off the? Aren't the rabbis are formally kicking the anim off the field by making it that the son could make a kinyan? Why is that? What's the difference whether he has a kinyan? They're also kicking them off the field. The anim are going to get kicked off the field. They can't get onto this. They can't take leket on this field. The son is going and getting all of the leket. And on top of that, the rabbis even gave him a rabbinic kinyan. So the Gemara says, no, the anim love this takana. Oh, yeah? Why do they love this takana? Because they're going to think, it's true, even though we got kicked off of this field, but we can go and get hired out on a different field and also have our sons follow after us. And then we could do the same thing. So fine, if that's the way if you say that's the way the anim figure according to the way Ravus explained it, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to say the same thing according to the way Abai explained it. Don't know.
I think that's it. Time's over, right?
I'm gonna have to Bli Netter, I'm gonna have to ask one of the Talmidei Chachamim in the base Medrash to explain to me.
Because I can't answer the question.
I think it's a question.
Yeah, definitely is a question. I can see the a difference between the two scenarios, but I can't see that it answers your question. Anyway,
Yeah.
right, time is up.
Okay, time is up.
4:45, right?
And don't forget, bring your book. Bring your Daniel book.
Okay.
See you at 10:04.
Right. Okay.
Okay, have a great day, everybody. Bye, Lou. Bye, Alan.
Bye-bye, Rabbi. Thank you.